Hey guys, today I will be taking a look at the Economist forecast for the 2020 presidential election, just taking a look at how the numbers have changed as they have just updated this forecast just 3 hours ago. This is honestly one of my favorite forecasts to take a look at. I think that they do have a lot of information that you cannot find in other forecasts, a lot of unique data that they plot out for you and show you on the Economist forecast. So right now, according to this forecast, they give Joe Biden an 86% chance of winning the election to Donald Trump with just a 13% chance. And looking at the chances of winning the popular vote, Joe Biden currently has a 97% chance of winning the popular vote in November to President Trump with just a 3% chance of winning the popular vote. Of course, in 2016, Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by almost 3 million votes, but he won 306 electoral votes, winning the Electoral College and winning the election. And looking at the predicted range of electoral votes for Biden and Trump, currently Joe Biden is expected to win from 215 to 421 electoral votes. This is a pretty large range, but the numbers at the ends of these are very slim to actually occur. Trump's range ranges from 117 to 323 electoral votes. I honestly do not think that he can reach 323 even if he were to win. I think that if Trump were to pull off a victory, it would be a very, very narrow victory in the Electoral College, but him even winning, only 13% chance of this actually occurring. So taking a look at the estimated Electoral College votes and how they have changed over time, as you can see, the race was very, very close in March and early April. The race was pretty close. It was pretty up and down between Biden and Trump. However, steadily Joe Biden's numbers did rise. It was not just one big spike up for Joe Biden, but he did see a significant bump in June when his numbers did go up quite a bit because of the Black Lives Matter protests. And just all of the riots occurring all around the country at the time in midsummer, and are still occurring right now, except they are not getting covered as much as they were during the summer. And honestly, Donald Trump really did not have too much of a united message. He only made these riots get worse and worse. He definitely escalated the situation, which I think did lose a lot of people's support during this time. And as you can see, he has struggled to gain back that support that he saw in just March. And as the COVID-19 pandemic gets even worse and worse, it is better than it was a couple of weeks ago, but still it is nowhere near great. We're still the worst country in terms of deaths and just cases, and we have done a horrible job at just preventing this from actually occurring. And we saw in those tapes released just a couple of days ago that Trump knew about the fatality rate and how quickly it spread, but he did say that he tried to play it down. He literally said he was always going to play it down, and now he's trying to say that he actually played it up in terms of action, which is totally untrue. And there's a lot about that in the media right now, which I think is definitely hurting his chances. And taking a look at the chances of victory right here, as you can see, of course, in March and early April, they were pretty neck and neck. However, after that, once the month of May hit, Biden went up quite a bit, from around 64% all the way up to 74% chance of victory. And as you can see in June, Biden's numbers went up a little bit here as well and stayed pretty steady since then. So Biden and Trump's chances have basically not changed since the month of June. If we take a look at the 2016 numbers, which I don't have up right here, but if we were to take a look at them, it was very up and down. Clinton might have had a pretty large chance of winning, but still, it was not as steady as Joe Biden's lead now. And taking a look at his numbers now, 86%. After the RNC in late August, Biden's chances did plummet a little bit. However, they have definitely come right back up as Trump's bump after the convention really does not seem to have, it really doesn't seem to still be in effect. And of course, election day is right there. So Donald Trump really only has these less than 2 months, around 40 days, to catch up to Joe Biden and possibly win another 4-year term. Looking at the Electoral College simulations, they basically simulate 20,000 paths for this election. As you can see, the most popular outcome, or the outcome with the most simulations, I guess, coming to this outcome, is the outcome where Joe Biden wins 319 electoral votes. I don't think this is even possible, but these are just the averages of those simulations. Joe Biden, the most plausible one to occur is 319 electoral votes. That is Joe Biden's average right now. Donald Trump, I really don't know what it is because there's barely any Trump winning scenarios. There's so many more Biden winning scenarios. He even has one where he wins almost 500 electoral votes. Of course, that is not going to happen. I think anything past 369 is not going to occur. I don't think he's going to be able to outperform Barack Obama's 2008 margins, but 2012, I think definitely Joe Biden, if we were to do very well on election night, definitely could be reaching those Obama 2012 numbers that he saw 8 years ago. And taking a look at the winning chances, this is basically just they plot out the same thing in more of a rectangle, I guess, and each one of these squares is one simulation. So if you were to choose a simulation at random, there would be an 86% chance that it would be blue, 13% chance of it being red, which is a Trump victory, and then less than 1% chance of it actually being a tie. So there is currently an 86% chance of a Biden victory, 13% for Trump, and then less than 1% of a tie actually occurring. And you can take a look at this very nice graphic for yourself. Just search up Economist forecast, and you'll definitely find this at the very top of your page. And this is the new updated Economist forecast electoral map. This is where I'm basically spending the most time on. This is where they plot out the chances that they give each candidate of winning each state. Of course, the very solid Biden states with an over 99% chance of going to Vice President Biden. Washington, of course, Oregon, California, most of the Northeast as well, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, not really, Massachusetts, of course, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, of course, a very good chances for Joe Biden here. Washington, D.C., 19 and 20 as well. And for Donald Trump, of course, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, very solid for the president. North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, these very traditionally Republican states. But state of Montana, only a 99% chance, so that does put it into the very likely column, not the safe column. And then the likely Trump states are Iowa, Ohio, and Texas. Currently in the state of Texas, Donald Trump has a 70% chance of winning it. State of Ohio, 67%, and the state of Iowa, 67%, and then the state of Ohio, 68% chance of going to Donald Trump. This is honestly not too great. State of Iowa, Donald Trump won this state by 9.4% in 2016, Ohio by 8%. The state of Texas also very close to hitting 9% for Trump in 2016, and now he only has a 70% chance of winning. I think that this is honestly a huge sign of decline for President Trump. He should honestly have an over 90% chance of winning right now, but it's only down at 70% chance. And, if you think about this, Joe Biden has a 30% chance of flipping the state of Texas, a state that no Democrat has won since 1976. Joe Biden has a 3 in 10 chance of flipping the state of Texas. Taking a look at some of the very likely Democratic states, as you can see, Minnesota, 92% chance. The numbers here were not looking too good for Biden after the RNC. There were some polls where Trump actually led in and where Biden was tied with Trump in. However, now his numbers seem to have shot straight back up to even higher to where they were before. I believe he leads by around 8% right now. The state of Wisconsin, 85% chance of going to Joe Biden. The state of Michigan, 89% chance. And the state of Pennsylvania, 81% chance of going to the former vice president. So if we take a look at these numbers here, Joe Biden has an over 80% chance in winning the 3 states that he needs to flip to win the election. These are the 3 states that Clinton lost: Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. These 3 states, Clinton lost by less than 1% in 2016, and now Joe Biden has an over 80% chance of flipping. So if he wins all these 3 states, he will win the election, as you can see. Down here, Pennsylvania's over there, Nevada's also over here. Nevada is closer right now between Trump and Biden than Wisconsin and Michigan. The state of Nevada, Joe Biden has an 82% chance of winning. That's honestly, it's still good, much better than 2016. In 2016, Trump was actually expected to carry the state of Nevada. However, now Joe Biden has an 82% chance, so a step up from 2016 for the Democratic Party, but nowhere too great just because it's now worse for Biden than Michigan and Wisconsin, 2 states that did not even go to the Democratic Party in 2016. Taking a look at the state of Maine, 98% chance of the at-large vote going to Joe Biden. And if you want to take a look at some of these states and closer, just click on these states and you'll see a lot more data on these states individually. And I might cover these states in just a couple of moments. So the state of New Hampshire, 87% chance of going to Joe Biden. That's pretty good. New Hampshire, a state that Clinton won by 0.4% on election night 4 years ago. Definitely a very steep increase for Joe Biden here in terms of his chances of winning the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire was very close in 2016, but now it seems as if it is not going to be as close. Some other swing states to take a look at: the state of Florida, Joe Biden, 69% chance of Joe Biden winning the state of Florida. Florida is always very close. If Florida went to Barack Obama by very small margins in 2008 and 2012, Trump won it by 1% in 2016, and the state of Florida, no matter which candidate it goes to, Florida is always very close. It's always going down to the wire, and always called very late on election night. Of course, in the year 2000, Florida wasn't called until weeks after the election, and so 69% chance of Biden winning Florida to Trump with just a 70% chance of winning Texas, a state that has not voted blue in over 4 decades. That's a very good sign for Joe Biden that he's doing so well in Florida and also so well in the state of Texas. If you take a look at the closest 3 states on this map, North Carolina, 54% chance of winning Joe Biden. I honestly am not too sure about who's actually going to be able to carry this state, just because of the voter suppression that is already occurring. There's a 538 article on that where they are rejecting much more votes from African Americans than white people, I guess. I think it's around a 4 times higher chance of a black person's vote being rejected than a white person. This is just because of inaccuracies on ballots or stuff like that, or if they write something wrong on the ballot. But North Carolina, 54% for a Joe Biden victory here. The state of Georgia, 60% chance of Trump winning. I think this is a pretty good number. I honestly don't see Biden winning this state, but definitely if he were to do very well, I could definitely still see him flipping the state very narrowly, but honestly, it's going to be very close, but I think Trump is still going to carry it at the end of the day. The state of Arizona, Donald Trump has a less than 40% chance of carrying Joe Biden, 63% chance of winning the state of Arizona. That's definitely very good for him. Honestly, I think it should be a little bit higher. He has peaked in terms of his polling in the state of Arizona just a couple of days ago. He leads by around 5% right now in a state that Trump carried by 3% in 2016, and a state that has not gone to a Democrat since Clinton won it in 1996. So Joe Biden, 63% chance of carrying this state, the state of Arizona right now. So looking at this electoral map, it is very favorable for Joe Biden. He doesn't even need Florida, and he can cross 270 electoral votes. He doesn't even need Nevada, honestly. It's just safer for Joe Biden. That's why it's on the left of Pennsylvania, and then he does not need New Hampshire either. Honestly, he doesn't need many of these states, but he is still expected to win many of these states right now. Arizona, he's also expected to win, as well as the state of North Carolina. He can lose North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, and Nevada, and so in the election, as long as he wins all the other states that he's currently favored to win. So this is very favorable for Joe Biden once again, and Donald Trump really does need to win many states. This really does show which states Trump needs to hold on to, and yeah, just hold on to. He does not need to flip any state. Donald Trump is not going to flip any state. I can promise you that. Trump is not going to flip any Clinton state from 2016. He was going to make plays in the state of Nevada just because of how close it was in 2016, but now in 2020, that is not going to occur. Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, both states that went to Donald Trump by over 3% in 2016 are now very close. Georgia being the only state out of these that is currently expected to go to the president once again. Florida, he is expected to lose. He has a 31% chance of carrying the state right now. Pennsylvania, he's also expected to lose, as well as the state of Wisconsin and the state of Michigan. He is expected to lose so many of these states, and states like Texas, Ohio, and Iowa are now only likely states on this map between 65 to 85% chance of going to the president. And then this is the modeled popular vote on each state. This is honestly one of my favorite graphs. This is like the 538 average, except I think this is much more detailed. As you can see, there is a margin of error right here. So this is the 95% confidence. Basically, there is a 95% chance, according to this forecast, that Joe Biden is going to win the electoral votes from basically there to there. So there's only a 5% chance that Joe Biden wins higher than here or lower than here. So right now there is a less than 5% chance that Donald Trump is going to win the popular vote, less than 5% confidence. And this is basically a polling average map right here. This is the forecast and these are the polls. You can see, you see the polls in just a little bit darker, and this has the forecast a little bit darker. So basically they put into account the sample sizes as well as the tendencies or the biases that these pollsters tend to have towards either party, and they plot this all out after adjusting the data. This is something that 538 does as well, and something that Real Clear Politics does not do. But according to this right here, Joe Biden is on election night expected to win 53.6% of the popular vote to Donald Trump with 46.4%. So if this were to come true, you would honestly see a very stagnant popular vote, average, I guess, over time. As you can see, Joe Biden, basically, it would just be a little bit of a bump for Joe Biden in midsummer. It would go up in the early days of his campaign. It would go up and then come down just a tiny bit back to where he was at the beginning. So this campaign really has not been too eventful. Joe Biden has basically been expected to win these same states for this entire election cycle, but this is good because there's not as much up and down, so there's less chances of a surprise Trump victory or a Biden victory in some states that you would not expect them to win in. So Joe Biden currently expected to win 53.6% on election night to President Trump with 46.4%, and I think that if Joe Biden wins 53% of the popular vote, there's almost no chance that Trump can win the election. If Biden really does win by 7% margin, I don't see Trump winning the Electoral College like he did in 2016. He might have been able to win it when he only lost the popular vote by 2%, almost 3%, but by 7%, that is not going to happen for him. And then taking a look at the correlations between states, basically this just shows that if one state is to flip, what the chances of some other flips occurring are. So these are basically just the states that have similar demographics and political profiles as the other states. So if you take a look at a state in the South, of course they will correlate very well with other southern states, for Alabama for example, and then correlate very less to some other states in the Sun Belt here. And if we take a look at a northeastern state, of course it would correlate very well to the northeastern states. Let's take a look at Michigan right here, a Rust Belt state, very good correlation with the Rust Belt as well. The Sun Belt does tend to correlate very well with itself, as you can see, taking a look at all these Rust Belt states. Arizona, I think, being the only exception here. Nevada also. California especially. So this is the Economist forecast for the 2020 presidential election. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like as well as subscribing to my channel. We're very close to hitting 4,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all of your support that you guys have been giving me. Leave your thoughts in the comments below along with any video suggestions for videos you'd like to see from me in the future, and I will see you in the next video.